The trailer starts off with a shot of what looks like a behind the scenes of a shopping center, with a giant tank with a logo that looks like Glamrock Freddy, with the words Freddy Fazbear's Plazaplex surrounding it. I'm filling in some of the blanks, but that's really fairly obvious at this point. We then get our first look at Vanny while she says, "Gregory, your friends are worried about you. They're here with me. Please come out." While she says this, we can see her shadow. That looks very similar to the one from the Vanny poster that was released on Scott's website. We see the shadow pop up on the right side. Coming out of a door that says something along the lines of something bear. It's very blurry text, so I couldn't quite read it. Take note, this is Vanny's voice we hear, since she says "with me" at the same time the shadow is revealed. We then get a shot of the kitchen, potentially the first kitchen we've ever seen in this series, while Vanny says, "Gregory, I know I lost my temper earlier, but it was just a glitch." Note her voice also glitches on the word glitch. This may be important later. As she says glitch, we also get a shot of some new animatronic at the top left of the screen. The animatronic seems to be a Balloon Boy parody with a moon for a face, kinda like the Man in the Moon type thing. The doors close and then we see what looks like a laser tag maze. We see this over the line, "Why don't you come out and we can play a game together?" This is the most important scene, and you'll see why in a second. While we fly over this maze, we see cardboard cutouts of Montgomery Gamer and Glamrock Freddy, and then it fades to black. And then the final clip we get is what looks like a main mall plaza with a golden statue of Glamrock Freddy and what looks like those things you can walk through to get on the subway or get into a theme park. On the left hand side on banners we can see Roxanne Wolf and Glamrock Chica, who is looking pretty fly to be honest. And as Vanny says her last words of "it won't happen again, it was just a glitch," her voice glitches on glitch again, and then we see two neon signs saying the words Freddy Fazbear's Mega Plazaplex. These are the correct words because if you go frame by frame, which you know I did at 9 AM, you can see a space between the word Mega and whatever comes next. And then the final scene before the jump scare, we get some form of animatronic, probably a Freddy of some kind, saying, "Gregory, be still. I think she found us," which I think is a reference to the conversation that Scott put in the source code of his website, but I can't verify that because I literally finished scripting this as I had to film it. And then just after that we get our first preview of the jump scare that is sure to haunt all of our nightmares and YouTube thumbnails for the next few days. Wow, what a hell of a trailer, but what does this mean for the main game? Well, I told you to make some notes, so hopefully you did. I think we have actually already been introduced to the whole game. We know for a fact that there are no coincidences when it comes to Scott, and what just got released, at least for me, only a day before the trailer for Security Breach drops? Bunny Call. I have it downstairs. Amazon Prime same day shipping, baby! The book features a story called In the Flesh, a MatPat fanfic about a guy named Matt working on the next FNAF VR game that is all about avoiding Springtrap in a maze called Springtrap's Revenge. While no, there is no Springtrap in this game, we have a substitute, that being Vanny. And considering how one of the main shots of the trailer was a maze-like looking laser tag arena, this can't be a coincidence. Scott is too smart for that. So at the very least, part of the game will involve running around a maze and trying to avoid Vanny, if not the whole game. This also basically confirms the game to be a VR game, since that's what it is in the book, and Scott wouldn't specify that unless he wanted to hint at the next game in the series. Plus, he once again is working with Steel Wool Studios, which is the company behind the VR of Help Wanted, considering how the story honestly sounds more like a creepypasta, which is kinda weird. And notice the title, Bunny Call. Yes, it's a story in the book and has significance there, but also, as soon as the book got released, we get a trailer featuring a bunny, almost like we called it out, and she's calling to us. Now, I also said to keep note of the fact that her voice glitches when she says glitch. This is noteworthy because, well, if she was a real person, that wouldn't happen. Real people don't glitch when speaking unless they're me, trying to read from a teleprompter. There is something more here. Unless she isn't entirely human, she's probably been possessed by some code-like entity, perhaps from the last VR game in the series. Yes, Vanny is the reluctant follower possessed by Glitch, trapped to a point of her glitching when speaking. We already knew that, but now it's been confirmed. So many reveals in this trailer if you look in the right place, and if you're not convinced on the whole VR thing, look at the jump scare. It's clearly meant to be a VR jump scare, very reminiscent of those from Help Wanted. I'm sure they'll release a flat version as well for more lore hints, just like they did with Help Wanted, but I'm really excited for this game. We're definitely going to be playing it, especially because I was able to predict it. I know some people have put out videos already, they're lucky because of their time zone, but I haven't watched any other videos, okay? These are all my own ideas using my own knowledge. This trailer literally came out at 4:30 p.m. yesterday. I end at 5, okay? Don't blame me for being like 16 hours late. There we have it, friends, the FNAF Security Breach trailer breakdown and what we think the game is gonna be. What do you think? Are you excited? Be sure you let me know down below. Speaking of that, let's read out some comments. Haven't done that in a while. Margie Sanders said, he is now the silver guy who always comes back and explains FNAF. Thank you, I guess the silver suit really made an impact. Crimson Carson said, Connor, you remind me of Midas's ghost variant in Fortnite with that suit and tie. I've played Fortnite once. I have no idea what you're talking about, but thank you. Fortnite is popular, and I'm not. Luna Husky Studios says, I am furry lesbian god. Respect. Same. Happy Doggo said, Security Breach trailer just released. Dude, 10 steps ahead of you, kind of. Not really. We're like 10 steps behind everybody else, because literally released 17 hours ago. Their videos, but you know. Maddie the Art and Gotcha Tuber said, you should have included Hello Puppets. Hello Puppets is tame compared to all the other games on that list. Are you kidding me? It makes some sense. It has a coherent storyline. Alien Makeout Simulator? What? What is that? What is that game? I need to play it. First shot is a black screen with a woman, presumably Vanny, saying Gregory, but lingering on the Y, similar to the first trailer's glitchy/echoey speech.
Gregory.
We then have a shot of the entranceway with the golden Glamrock Freddy statue while happy music plays. Probably the music that plays throughout the Pizzaplex's common areas like the showroom and food court. We then fade to black with a woman saying it's getting late.
It's getting late.
Which is what my parents told me when I was on the 4th round of Taco Bell at my hometown's mall food court. Speaking of food court, we then have a shot of the food court's Mexican restaurant next, with a statue of El Chip from FNAF 6 on the right, some cacti decorating the place, some air hockey tables in the back, and presumably some other arcade games. This is probably next to the Fazcade so kids can play while their parents finish eating. We see soda machines with the name Fizz's Fizzy Station on them, along with some cactus with sombrero neon signs. Notice the amount of purple used outside of the Mexican theme here. We then get just a few frames of an animatronic server with a sombrero's face, looking remarkably similar to the puppet in my opinion on the left of the screen. This animatronic doesn't move. We then continue forward as another animatronic moves past us en route to serve a table or to clean it since there's nobody there. However, they are holding a tray of food from the looks of it. They seem to look like a skeleton and similar to the other animatronic, making me think that perhaps these are Dia de los Muertos themed. As they pass us, we see an arcade game having something to do with El Chip to the bottom left of the screen. We also see some sort of machine, probably an ATM, with the phrase ready, set, go on the side as the serving animatronic passes. The screen then fades to black and the same woman says, let's get you home, in the same echoey/glitchy tone.
Let's get you home.
Fading back, we see another section of the food court with an ice cream bar to the left, with animatronic cashiers that look at us as we walk up to them, which is really creepy, especially because they don't even try to hide the fact that these are animatronics. Like, they have gray faces with no facial features other than black spots for eyes and lines for mouths. It's terrifying. We also see advertisements playing on screens in the background, going from saying pizza to pizza, 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 repeating down the screen and then back, with another screen with the pizza being tossed back and forth saying tasty to go, meaning this is probably a quick grab and go pizza stand. The screen then fades to black again with the line and put you to bed said by that same woman. It basically has to be Vanny at this point.
And put you to bed.
We are then shown another underground section of the map with directional arrows pointing to L, which is on the right hand side, and the other circle pointing to a pizza slice. I had to screenshot this and then make the image black and white in order to see this perfectly clearly. When you get closer it's kind of easier, but still. And then there is a blinking red light coming from that direction, indicating that there is a problem in the dining area. I'm not sure what L could mean. It could just mean the left wing of the Pizzaplex though. The screen then fades to black again and Vanny says, I see you.
I see you.
We are finally shown another interior view of the Pizzaplex's back rooms, where we see an office with a Chica's rocket poster and a whiteboard with indiscernible writing and a pie graph. I really tried enhancing the image, but all I could really get at the beginning was pale, and I don't think that's right. I did some further analysis with some coworkers, and we think it says dark new enemies. Okay, future me popping in here to say that after I was editing this video, I realized that it definitely doesn't say dark new enemies. It probably most likely says Dave, no earrings. Because 3 out of the 4 animatronics have earrings and they probably don't like it. That's it, really. I thought it was something interesting, but it's just them telling Dave that he should either not wear earrings while working or that they don't like the earrings on the animatronics. Yeah, it's not as exciting as I thought it was gonna be. There you go! There was also a poster in there for what seems like a brand of ketchup. This was in 4K and I still couldn't see it, so don't blame me, even with my glasses on. We also walked past the tank with the Freddy Fazbear Pizzaplex logo on it, and some form of board with blue and green lights, very reminiscent of the security cameras from the first games. The screens then fade to black with Vanny laughing at us. That's when the logo appears on screen with the NVIDIA GeForce RTX logo right beside it, which is actually just the subscription button for their end screen, so it's not really on the screen. Then it finishes with a promo for how Security Breach will allow ray tracing and DLSS. At the beginning of the trailer, we see Vanny's mask slowly coming towards the camera while hearing, "When I first found you, you were nothing. You were small, pathetic, but now you are more. Are you ready?" This is most likely William Afton speaking to Vanny, the first time we ever hear him talk in the entire series. The mask gets closer and we eventually go through the hole in her eye. That's when the trailer cuts to Vanny with glowing red eyes skipping down a red hall, with the line captured on PS5, mix of gameplay and cinematics shown at the bottom of the screen, indicating this is probably the start of gameplay. This goes by quickly, and the next thing we know, we're in an elevator, with the female security guard from promo pictures and the Funko statue up against glass, almost begging us not to go down, but it's too late since the elevator is already in motion. We then see a shot of the laser tag arena while hearing the sounds of fake lasers from laser tag guns, confirming our earlier analysis of this area. The trailer then shows us a blacklight version of the Freddy Fazbear's Pizzaplex logo shining against a wall, with Vanny's shadow skipping in front of it. Then creepy music starts playing as text that reads, "When fear takes hold and reality fails, the stage is set and insanity prevails," appears on screen, each line glitching into the screen after showing us an animatronic from this main lineup, having red eyes as the light fades. They do this for each animatronic with the exception of Freddy, indicating to us that Freddy will be our only ally, even if he does have red eyes when it shows all four of them together. Maybe this means that he will betray us at some point during the story of the game. After this, we hear a female voice say, "Gregory, we can get you out of here. You and me, together." I can tell that these lines are spliced together, since there is a slight differential in the tone between the two lines, and there appears to be just a little bit of word that is heard just before she says, "you and me." This is even more apparent at quarter speed. I noticed this because while I do host videos, I also edit them, and this is common when needing to splice lines or cut something out, especially if the actor doesn't pause between lines. This is played over Gregory in the security room staring at the cameras of the Pizzaplex. They're all off, indicating that someone has sabotaged them. We then get a quick view of Monty's mini golf course, indicating that maybe each animatronic gets their own area where we will need to face them. This probably leaves the laser tag to Freddy, or Montgomery has two locations. Next, we're hiding behind a curtain in the main area of the Pizzaplex as the security guard from earlier walks by. But if she's a security guard, why would we be hiding from her? Unless it's because, like the Funko figure indicated, Vanny is the security guard, since that Funko statue had Vanny behind the security guard shushing us, telling us to be quiet since we shouldn't reveal her secret. We are then running through some sort of maintenance tunnel, appearing to be underground, or perhaps a line area for a ride like we see at Disney World or Canada's Wonderland. The screen goes black and we see some sort of jungle gym, probably also meant to make us feel small and helpless, since the structure is big and at least 2 layers tall. This is also why you're small and help wanted by default. When I play, if I increase my size so I don't get sick, I'm also less scared since the animatronics don't tower over me. This could be either Chica or Roxanne's area, since this doesn't fit with either a mini golf course or a laser tag arena. We then walk through an area showcasing each of the animatronics individually, with Chica, Freddy, Montgomery, and Roxanne all getting their own alcove, but with Roxanne as the only one without a sign above their room. We then go down a spiral slide from our childhoods as we hear a woman say, "We have to get you out by morning." Then we fall into a ball pit and make our way out of it. We then see the big jungle gym area from earlier and Chica's face, confirming that this will take place in Chica's area, which ironically is full of fun, bright colors despite this being a horror game full of despair. We then are backing away from Chica in the kitchen as the line, "You will do as I say, you will bring me what I want, and if you fail me, then both of you will burn," is heard. This is most likely William Afton again, unless there is another antagonist we have yet to be introduced to, and he's probably referring to some sort of item that can get him out of the suspended animation that he is currently in with the whole glitch trap thing and being code. As this is being said, we see some form of neon light jungle. Maybe it's an entrance to the mini golf since we see the silhouette of Montgomery Gator walk inside, which is noticeable at normal speed, but it's much easier to see at quarter speed. It then cuts to Chica's area, where we're walking under a bridge while that voice is saying, "You will bring bring me what I want, hinting at the idea that the item could be inside Chica's jungle gym, or that we will be looking all around the Pizzaplex for it, either to deliver it or prevent him from getting it first. We then cut back to the area with a showcase of animatronics. Further down though, past Montgomery's alcove, where we turn to see Roxanne Wolf running at us full steam. Then it cuts to a hole or some decorations outside of the mini golf area, where we look to our watch and see the good old security cameras on the inside, making sure Montgomery Gator isn't in our way. We get a load of information about gameplay in this shot. Since we can also see on this watch that we can check the Pizzaplex map, we have an inventory, and whatever logs means, it could be like the tapes from the previous game. We can also see how much battery we have left in our flashlight, and what percent of power that Freddy animatronic is at, and our 2 tickets that will probably collect all over the map. These will most likely give us a secret or additional ending knowing Scott, or they could also be similar to the tapes from the last game. Then we see the security breach rounded logo triangle surrounding the number 8. This could be a game mechanic, maybe times that we distract animatronics, or maybe it's something that we need to collect. Perhaps the thing that the voice was saying that we need to bring him. It's kind of unclear. Then we're back to Chica's playpen, which is what I'm gonna call it because, you know, she's a chicken pen. But we're walking on the bridge we passed under just moments ago, and the Moon Man animatronic from the kitchen in the first trailer is dancing on the other side. We then see Montgomery break open a fence gate, us running down a hall, Roxanne being trapped behind a fence gate, revealing that perhaps the different animatronics will have different abilities or stats. Then it cuts to Chica running at us, but then boxes fall over, stopping her from running for a moment, showing us the game mechanic of being able to trip or stumble animatronics by pulling things over and creating obstacles like what people do in chase scenes during movies or TV, so that could potentially be helpful. No, that's going to be helpful. Then in a blink and you'll miss it scene, we see Vanny running at us in a dimly red-lit hallway with an image of potentially a skull reflected in the ceiling from the light. This sequence is just 31 frames long, which is just over 1 second, if the trailer is using the normal 24 frames per second that most videos, including this one, tend to use. After that, we see the reveal of a new animatronic, the Sun Man, I'm gonna call him, who jumps for joy at the concept of a new FNAF game. Not really, but he is jumping. But he also has the same moon that we see on the Moon Man animatronic's face. This could mean that they're connected, but the more likely scenario is that the animatronic has 2 modes, a daytime and a nighttime mode, and a different face and color scheme is used for these variations, showing us the sun and yellow colors during the day, but switching to showcasing the moon and darker blues and blacks for the night mode, since we've only seen the Moon Man when the lights are off and the Pizzaplex is closed. Opposite with the sun, we only see him during the day. Then we finally see Roxanne's area of the Pizzaplex, a racetrack probably for go-karts. When I was growing up, there was a place that we used to go to bowling called Neb's Fun World. This place was great. It was where we all wanted to go all the time, and where I would have hung out with my friends most of the time if I had any that didn't live on the other side of the city. However, they also had these same kinds of areas, a play center for kids, bouncy castles, go-karts, bumper cars, an arcade. It's also where I took my current girlfriend out on our first date. So I'm getting those kind of vibes from this area and this location in general, and I'm not mad about it. Helps me relate. Helps me want to play it. Because, you know, it's horror, and we all know how I am with horror. Cut back to night where we see the Moon Man going down a slide in Chica's playpen, crawling and looking directly at us while he gets out, showing us that he is in fact chasing us. Then we cut to a staff-only sign, very dimly lit, but then we see an all too familiar face as Vanny pokes out from behind it, eyes glowing red as per usual. The red eyes probably indicates a link with the animatronics, since we saw them each with the exception of Freddy with a focus on red eyes early on in the trailer. The screen then flashes red as the security breach logo twists onto screen. And finally, the worst part of the trailer for me, as Vinny says, there is more going on here than you realize. We cut to the floor of a back room where a purple, metallic arm reaches out from behind some sort of metal box, clinking, clanging, and crawling to get out. And this was my genuine reaction to this moment when I watched it for the first time. Ready? No! 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 You've gotta be kidding me! Afton's back? Seriously? No! Why won't this die? Yeah, I really want Afton to finally be dead, but then the screen cuts to black and the text 2021 appears on screen because, you know, it's releasing this year. That's the shot-by-shot breakdown of the trailer. Now to go over the things I noticed in 0.25x speed, or quarter speed. A detail I noticed at lower speed is that each of the glitches before the text fully appears had a texture, and I was able to see the full image in one frame of "And Insanity Prevails." The image that glitches were revealing was in fact Vanny's suit. Mask, ears, arms, and slight torso are all in full view. This same image is used for the glitch of "And Reality Fails," just without the glowing eyes of the animatronic. I also noticed that the giant Montgomery at the mini golf course is actually an animatronic, moving his fingers and slightly turning as the camera gets closer. As we are running through the tunnel or cave in the maintenance area, there are two white dots to the left of the screen, very reminiscent of the iconic golden Freddy eyes that we all know and fear. It's unlikely that this is a reflection of a metallic surface, since there is hardly any light in this area. I also see a shadow looking similar to how Shadow Bonnie did in FNAF 2 when we see Chica's solo alcove. This does appear to just be things stacked on each other and not lit, but we know Scott. This could be an homage to Bonnie, who we have yet to see appear in this game, and who probably will be absent this go around. At quarter speed, I also see that Roxanne is missing from her alcove when we see her running at us. This is probably where the animatronics go at night, almost like they're home when they aren't working, which is honestly how these things start, okay? If you treat them like they are sentient, they will become sentient. It's just a bad idea. You should know this by now. Jeez, how many times have animatronics killed kids? You should learn by now, treat them like robots. And during the final moments of the trailer at 2021, there is another glitch that has a different picture of Vanny. I'm taking this as Vanny, not Springtrap or William, because the suit isn't burnt to a crisp. And as we just saw, he is metal at this point, if that. In fact, it's the same image that shows up earlier in the trailer when it says, "When fear takes hold and the stage is set." Also, a couple notes I figured I should include just in case. Scott's website has not changed. The source code on FNAFworld.com and ScottGames.com are the same as they were before, with the image on Scott Games being the same as it has been for around a year or so. You know, the one with Vanny with Obey. There is also no hidden text in dark spaces. Every time I saw darkness, I screenshotted and put the image in Photoshop to look for clues. This only worked for revealing better images of Vanny in the glitch areas. No hidden text, messages, or game reviews were found in this trailer, at least by me. In a tense security room. In the shot of the security room where Gregory stands after all the cameras shut off, we see the screens flickering static as if they were unable to show video. However, a closer look actually reveals that these cameras are showing images in the static. Some contrast and brightness tinkering can reveal a slightly clearer picture, but we can't be exactly sure of what it is. To me, it looks like a really blurry version of the supply closet from FNAF 1, at least one of them does. I have a feeling that the glitches are versions of cameras from previous games, and I wouldn't put it past Scott. There are other images that are really blurry, like really low quality ultrasounds, but if you have any ideas as to what these secret images can be, let me know down below. In at 9, Vanny glitches. During the scenes focusing on the individual animatronics on the elevator, there is text that shows up between each shot. These say, "When fear takes hold and reality fails, the stage is set and insanity prevails." Each line of text glitches onto the screen, but within those glitches are hidden images of the antagonist of this game, none other than Vanny, the reluctant follower of William Afton. There are two images that are shown, one of her looking to the left and the other of her looking towards the center. The eyes that linger over these glitches also always appear above her head. Having these images be glitches on the screen obviously is a reference to Glitch Trap, and having eyes above her head is symbolic of being watched. So could Glitch Trap be watching her through these animatronics, making sure she's doing her job? They all have red eyes after all. Only time will tell. And it is Shadow Bonnie. During the scene where we see the first alcove containing the animatronics, we see Chica rocking on her guitar. Firstly, this appears to be the home of the animatronics while they're not working or during the night. But no matter how dumb that is from an AI perspective, there is another thing that is slightly odd about this little room. There seems to be some form of microphone or perhaps some other electronic attached to her desk that, while having a light directly on it, is still pitch black. It is also in the rough shape of Shadow Bonnie as they appeared in FNAF 2. It's not perfect, but it's still noticeable if you're looking for it. This could be a coincidence or a nice nod to a character that will be appearing in this game, like how Scott made Chica's party world for Sister Location. And it's 7 Cupcake. Also in front of that same alcove, we can see a few frames of Chica's famous cupcake in a display case, almost like it's a museum, or perhaps a memoriam to the old design of Chica that they had to abandon for this establishment, or because the fans love the cupcake and would be furious if it wasn't here in some capacity. There looks to be a plaque on the front of the display as well, indicating that maybe it's a bit of a showcase for the cupcakes and perhaps its history with the character of Chica. Maybe the Fazbear Entertainment Company is trying to push sugary foods less, or maybe they just want to get rid of the cupcakes since it was involved with a version of Chica that was possessed by the soul of a child after Afton offered them more pizza. Maybe this whole area is dedicated to ensuring the reign of Afton never comes back. Good luck with that. Someone didn't listen to him when he says he always comes back, and obviously someone didn't look at the final shot of that trailer. And at 6, the eyes. There is a scene where we are running through maybe what can be thought of as a maintenance tunnel probably below the Pizzaplex. We don't know if anything is chasing us, but we can guess so since this shows over the line they won't stop hunting you, none of them will stop hunting you, suggesting that we are in fact being chased. Now at the very beginning of the scene to the left of the screen, on the very edge we see some lights. However, as our character runs, the fence or railing beside us cuts that light into 2 separate dots, very reminiscent of the eyes of good old Golden Freddy, the one who will not rest torturing Afton's soul in hell. While this may just be a coincidence, we know Scott doesn't do that sort of thing. There were probably multiple shots of this scene and he would have chosen this one because of that tiny detail. That may have been a mistake, but now I can't unsee it. Halfway through at number 5, design change. This is something I didn't notice until I went into the comments of that trailer. In the summer of 2020, Funko leaked the designs of the action figures for Security Breach, thus leaking the designs of the animatronics. People were pissed about this, obviously, since Scott had specifically told Funko not to release anything. What is it with Funko and leaks? Anyway, the designs of the characters from the gameplay trailer are actually slightly different to those of the action figures that were released. This is most notable on Roxanne's clothes, where Scott moved the black star shapes, and on Monty's guitar, where he removed or made the black stripes smaller. At least from what I can see. Chica's guitar is also a lighter blue and mostly white, as opposed to white and a darker blue from the original action figure. And the animatronics in the trailer are properly proportioned. The action figure heads just weird me out. Like, the pop figures are fine because it's meant to be that way, it makes sense, but the action figures, it's weird. And at 4, Bellora's theme. Over the footage of us being shown the individual animatronics of Chica, Roxanne, and Monty, we hear some music that would potentially be triggering to fans who played Sister Location. Here's the clip. This is very reminiscent of Bellora's theme from Sister Location, not the song she sings, but rather her theme music that has no lyrics. This is more of a remixed version of the song instead of the original, but it could be a hint at something much more. Like Vanny says at the end of the trailer, there is more going on here than you realize. It then cuts to something else, and that makes us think that that's what's going on that's more, but we realize that. So what if this truly means this could be in the introduction of William Afton's wife? Bellora is used as an allegory for his wife, not being possessed, Bellora isn't possessed, but just as a mother figure to the mini-Renas and even kind of Baby if you look at it that way. And if you do, the connection only grows since Baby is possessed by Elizabeth Afton, William's daughter, or was. We don't know what happened to his wife, she has no official name. Some think she died naturally and that drove him to killing, some think William killed her, others think she ran away after learning about what William does. Maybe we will learn more about her in this game. Maybe she is indeed the security guard. Maybe her name is Vanessa. Maybe it's just because that music is creepy. Who knows? Getting close to the end in number 3, staff only. Near the end of the trailer, before the Security Breach logo, we see Vanny pop out from behind a door labeled staff only, indicating that she is a staff member. But why is staff an acronym? The term staff is used in many different ways, as a plural noun, adjective, and even a verb. But none of those uses use the term like an acronym. In fact, when I searched for the acronym, even with quotation marks, nothing came up. So this is definitely something odd. What could this acronym stand for? And is there actually a meaning behind it, or is Scott just giving us a red herring? Let me know your theories down below. Penultimately in at number 2, purple. The color purple is everywhere in this trailer, no doubt a connection to the purple guy himself, William Afton. The trailer starts off with him speaking and then he is present throughout the whole trailer. There is purple in nearly every shot, and if there isn't, it's a color that makes purple, blue or red. Plenty of the neon lights are purple, purple is a common secondary color throughout the Pizzaplex, even the logo that shines on the wall is purple. Chica's playpen has plenty of purple, the Pizzaplex alcoves have purple, Chica's guitar is purple, Roxanne's leg warmers are either a dark purple or blue, but she's also wearing a red shirt. Monty's gloves and shoes are purple. The only animatronic that doesn't seem to have purple on them is Freddy. Maybe this indicates that he isn't under Afton's control. Everything in this trailer for the most part is related to the color purple. The logo is red and the text is glowing blue. Not to mention the ending with, finally, and at number 1, the arm. The final shot of this trailer is clearly a reference to William Afton. I know you noticed that. But what you might have missed, however, is the reflecting purple light that we can see in the reflection of his arm, throwing any theory that this is the Stitch Wraith out the window. At least, maybe. The arm also appears to have been melted at some point, or has had something melted onto it, like flesh perhaps, or the remains of a suit that caught fire after being lured there by your son and your former business partner. And it's at Helpy. Yes, Helpy is actually in the security breach trailer, and I'm not kidding. I mean, like, the animatronic themselves wasn't there, but Happy's face was. During the shot of the kitchen in the very first trailer, the introduction of the Moonman animatronic, we were too distracted to see Helpy's face on a barrel to the right of the screen. The barrel that has the text like torque toil, which I mean, like, it's probably just some form of oil, but I mean, like, I don't know, like, what the name is, but he's there and he's a small character, okay? It's like there's like some fraction on it, maybe with some numbers, maybe percentage of oil, something like that, okay? Helpy's face though is still plastered on the side, and this will probably be his only appearance, unfortunately. I mean, I want to see him jumping into like the giant ball pit so that he doesn't get hurt again, although he'd probably miss knowing him. But this also confirms that the game has to take place at least after FNAF 6, which kind of ruins my taking place in 2021 theory, but... 8 and 9, more Foxies. During the first gameplay trailer from the February State of Play event from PlayStation, we got our first look at how the game would actually play. However, after many rewatches, I swear the trailer on PlayStation's channel has like 14.6 million views, and I think 14 million of them are from me. However, I noticed on like the 13th millionth watch that when Vanessa's walking past the player and we're like hiding in like the behind the curtains or whatever, there's an interesting scene in the background. This appears to be a reference to the Pirate Ride minigame from FNAF VR's DLC, since there's a pirate ship with what looks to be Captain Foxy. However, along with what I think is Captain Foxy, you can also see another character who's like swinging on a rope as if they're boarding them Pirates of the Caribbean style. Now, I don't know if this is like maybe Funtime Foxy or maybe even Lolbit, but it is certainly not the normal Foxy that we all know and love. So, who is this character? Well, I mean, we're gonna find out in the game, but it's certainly interesting, and it does confirm that this also takes place after FNAF VR, which again, ruins the 2021 theory, so damn. And today, gameplay. If you watched the second State of Play trailer for Security Breach, you may not notice this. However, on the PlayStation version of the trailer, the one uploaded to the PlayStation YouTube channel, during the first few seconds after Vanny appears on screen when we first see Chica walking by, the bottom of the screen tells us that the footage in this trailer is a mixture of gameplay and in-game cinematics, meaning that everything in this trailer is supposed to appear in-game at some point. So, this means that Monty jumping down from that swinging thing and Chica attacking us but then getting smashed is confirmed to be in the game. Hopefully. This also interestingly confirms that Vanny's little skip down the hall and then subsequent her coming out of the darkness seems to be in the game as well, which begs the question when, since that last, I guess it would seem like a jump scare doesn't really seem all that scary at all. It just seems like she's genuinely wanting us to be quiet, even if her eyes are glowing red. So why is this the case? Does she turn good and try to help us? I mean, there's only one way to find out. Steel Wool, send us a copy. And it's 7 recharge. It appears that we'll have to be recharging most of our devices on a regular basis from the looks of things, with the station at which the flashlight recharges in the trailer, you know, before Chica gets us, and the battery level that we can see on Freddy's UI while piloting him. However, I also noticed that the flashlight recharging station looks an awful lot like the flash we used to stun Roxanne on later in that same trailer. It's the exact same design, which makes me think that maybe we can use these various charging stations as charging stations, or take them off the wall and you have like a few use stun gun that we can keep with us, which is certainly an interesting way to add choice to the game. And I'm sure both options have their pros and cons. Get out the yellow legal pad, ladies and gents, because it's time for a pros and cons list. Everyone should be cheering, why aren't you excited? Yeah, there we go. And at 6, swinging error. I mentioned before how the appearance of Monty when he jumps off the swinging thing in the ceiling is supposed to be in the game. However, something I find interesting about that scene is that when he's actually swinging, it shouldn't physically be possible. Like, I get it, it's a game and we need to suspend our disbelief, but this game is releasing on the next generation of consoles. So, what you're telling me is like, I can see Peter Parker running around his room in the reflection of his toaster, but you can't fix a pendulum swinging through what should be solid concrete on your ceiling? Like, for a game that's hard set on its details and lore and little hints, You figured they'd pay attention to something like that. Like, there's not even a rail system or something that would realistically even let it be moving forward, let alone side to side. It's just like it's clipping through the roof. Or I guess maybe that's the point, and this entire game is a dream. That actually kind of makes sense. I don't want to deal with that though. I mean, it's probably not the case. But yeah, this is what happens, Scott. When you make all these tiny details, when you end up forgetting something, we end up thinking that it's a clue. So way to go. Can't wait to see the Reddit post about this one. Halfway through into number 5, Weird Glitch. During this same trailer, the second State of Play trailer, we get character introductions for the 4 main animatronics, Chica, Roxy, Monty, and Freddy. However, Freddy's is particularly odd. First, he's the only original character introduced with his proper name, Freddy Fazbear, unlike how Chica was introduced as Glamrock Chica, which you may just think is because she doesn't really have a last name. However, neither do Roxanne or Monty. They just have their animals. So like, why, if they want to specify Chica as a Glamrock version, did they not do the same thing with Freddy? Secondly, after Freddy's title card, we get a zoom in of the character while he's glitching out, again setting him apart from the rest. And finally, I don't know how I didn't notice this before, but when he falls down and seemingly crashes with his integrity level seemingly falling dangerously low, he's falling down on the stage that he's on for the trailer, not any stage where there's actually like kids in front of him. So he's not in the Mega Pizzaplex, which means that this doesn't take place in the game. It happens during that scene, as you can see from the brief glimpse we have of him falling. If these are supposed to be scenes from the game, or at least cinematics, where is this playing if it's not actually happening? Like, it would have to be like on a TV or something, I guess, but like, where is that TV and why is he falling down if it's like just a thing for the kids? And then for a secret cameo. Okay, we already know what Gregory looks like, but we have yet to actually see him in game, right? Since the game is seemingly first person only. Wrong! Well, kind of. Since thanks to the security cameras, we actually get a very quick glimpse at Gregory's back during the scene where Monty is bashing on the security room door. At 1 minute and 7 seconds in the second gameplay trailer, we can see Gregory's shirt, shorts, and right leg in the room while he checks the security camera to see if Monty's out there. Although I feel like you would know, considering how he's bashing on the door that's right next to you. We actually only get a second of this, like literally 1 second of this scene before the camera changes and we lose Gregory. However, as we can see from the mini-map in the bottom right, it also appears that we'll only be able to access the cameras that were around unless we end up maybe using the security room. However, from the first trailer, we can actually assume that the security room doesn't have access to the cameras. I'm guessing because they're all probably cut off by Vanny since, you know, they're all fuzzy. And 3, multiple paths. Now this is an interesting idea to me, since from the get-go I figured that much like FNAF VR and Sister Location, that this would be a more story-driven game. However, based on their previous trailer, we seem to have a choice for how to play it. Who we currently believe is Glamrock Freddy tells us that the doors will reopen at 6 AM, a familiar time to fans of the original games, since they had us surviving until the end of our shift at 6 AM. Quote from Glamrock Freddy, "You should be able to escape when the security doors reopen at 6 AM. Until then, keep moving and try not to draw attention to yourself. If there is another way out, I will help you find it." But then we see plenty of different areas like a downstairs and like secret tunnels and more. If we're only trying to survive until 6, why would we hide down there and not just stay in the security room like when Monty was banging on the door? This building seemingly doesn't have limited power. This leads me to believe that there will be multiple ways to play. Hide and seek until 6 AM, which gives us one ending, and escaping, which will give us another and probably the canon ending. But ultimately, in at number 2, Secret Purple. At this point, we all know that the release date for the game is going to be December 16, 2021, or if you want to go by the number of the dates, 16/12/21, because the day comes before the month because that's how everywhere in the world other than the States does it. But after going through the random flashing numbers and checking hexadecimal codes for some of them after the Freddy and Friends on Tour videos, I figured I'd check the hexadecimal for the actual release date. So opening up Photoshop, I put in the hex code 16/12/21, and it gives us what looks like black until you look at the actual color spectrum and see that it's not black, but instead a very, very dark purple. The same shade of purple that William Afton was depicted as during FNAF 2 and 3, or at least very similar to it. And I just think that's interesting, like since if they had released it when they originally wanted to, probably around sometime mid-2020, that color would have instead been blue, not purple. Even if they had released it in January of 2022, it would have been blue. I mean, it's probably not intentional, but it's certainly an interesting coincidence. And finally, in number 1, logical inconsistency. Now, I hinted at this earlier, however, there seems to be a lot of conflicting data and points in the FNAF series as a whole, yes, but also in the trailers. Like how in the trailer, Vanny seemingly tells us to come home and that it won't happen again, which is a whole other can of worms, because that suggests that Vanny is Greg's mother, but more on that another time. That line suggests that Gregory ran away to the Pizzaplex, but in recent trailers we learn that he actually gets trapped in there accidentally. And in the RTX trailer we hear Vanny say, "Gregory, it's getting late, let's get you home and put you to bed." But like I said, we know he's there late as an accident, so what's the deal here? And even in the first gameplay trailer we hear Vanessa say that she can get us out of this place, but we learn from Freddy that the doors don't open until 6. She also says we won't want to be here until 6 AM, but that's seemingly the only time we can get out of the doors. So is this hinting at the 12 AM to 6 AM classic gameplay leading to the bad ending? Perhaps. So why are the trailers contradicting themselves before the game is even released yet? No idea. 'Cause it's FNAF, honestly. That's a better explanation.